On February 4th, 1983, Karen Carpenter's angelic voice was silenced forever at just 32. But the heart failure reported was a lie of omission, hiding a story of secret chemical poisoning and brutal Hollywood betrayals. While friends like Elton John watched her suffer, her controlling family and a con man husband pushed her over the edge, turning a superstar into a tragic skeleton. We're about to expose the full, shocking story of who and what truly killed Karen Carpenter. Before the darkness, there was the voice, a pure, velvet sound that sold 100 million records and defined a decade. Alongside her brother Richard, Karen Carpenter was America's sweetheart, the wholesome girl next door, who offered a comforting soundtrack to a turbulent world. They were the smiling, perfect, all-American family. But this entire image was a meticulously crafted lie, a gilded cage built by her family, and behind that smile was a woman screaming for help. At the heart of the machine was Richard Carpenter, the musical mastermind and arranger. He was a certified genius, but he was also a relentless perfectionist who demanded nothing less than note-perfect recordings. This intense, suffocating creative bond often made Karen feel like just another instrument in his orchestra. As Richard's own life spiraled into a secret dependence on Quaaludes, the pressure on Karen to maintain the illusion of the Carpenters became unbearable. But the pressure didn't start with Richard. It started at home. The Carpenter matriarch, Agnes, was notoriously cold, openly favoring Richard, her genius, while treating Karen as an afterthought. Friends recall Agnes's devastating coldness and her constant criticism of Karen's appearance, including the infamous comment that she looked chubby. This triggered a desperate, lifelong obsession for Karen to earn the one thing she craved more than any #1 hit, her mother's love. By the mid-70s, the Carpenters were global superstars, living in the pressure cooker of Hollywood. A single cruel review in a magazine, calling her Richard's chubby sister, became the bullet that started the war. She began an extreme diet, and the pounds just melted away. But this wasn't just a diet. It was the start of a new, terrifying, and silent disease that, at the time, doctors didn't even bother understanding. The public and the press praised her initial weight loss, calling her svelte and chic. But this was the first great public lie. Karen was starving herself, using laxatives, and taking 80 to 90 thyroid pills a day to speed up her metabolism, even though her thyroid was perfectly healthy. Record execs loved the marketable new look, but friends like Olivia Newton-John were horrified. They saw a friend who was quite literally disappearing before their very eyes. Desperate to escape her family's control, Karen thought she found her knight in shining armor, a real estate developer named Tom Burris. Their 1980 wedding at the Beverly Hills Hotel was a lavish, over-the-top affair, a public declaration that she was finally starting her own life. She beamed in her custom-made gown, believing she was finally going to get the one thing she always wanted, a family and children of her own. She was dead wrong. The dream of a happy marriage turned into a nightmare almost immediately. After the wedding, Burris dropped a bombshell. He'd had a vasectomy and couldn't give her the children she so desperately craved. This was a devastating betrayal. To make matters worse, it became clear he was living off her money, spending thousands on cars and gifts for himself, while she was given a small allowance. The escape she had planned was nothing but a trap. The betrayal wasn't just financial, it was psychological. As Karen's anorexia worsened, Burris showed zero sympathy. Instead, he allegedly met her frailty with pure cruelty. Sources close to Karen report that he would mock her emaciated figure, calling her bony and a bag of bones. This emotional abuse was like gasoline on the fire of her body dysmorphia. The one man who was supposed to love her was actively pushing her deeper into her disease. The marriage imploded in just 14 months. But this was no clean break. It was a bitter public war over her millions. Burris allegedly demanded a large-figure divorce settlement to simply go away. Karen was now fighting a two-front war, one against the con man who'd stolen her money, and one against the disease that was stealing her life. This legal battle became a true crime story unfolding behind the closed doors of her mansion. In 1982, completely broken and weighing under 80 pounds, Karen fled to New York City. She was finally separating herself from her family and her toxic husband. She checked herself into the care of a famous celebrity doctor, Stephen Levenkron, committing to a new, radical therapy. This was her last, desperate hope for survival. She believed this man could save her when everyone else in her life had failed her. Levenkron's methods were extreme for the time. He used hyperalimentation, a form of IV-based force feeding, to get her weight up. Karen gained 30 pounds in just 8 weeks. But this rapid, artificial weight gain put an enormous and sudden strain on a heart that was already severely weakened by years of starvation. Was the cure just as dangerous as the disease? This controversial treatment may have been the very thing that set the stage for the final tragedy, but even her doctors didn't know the whole truth. Karen had a darker, more dangerous secret, one she was hiding from everyone: ipecac. This over-the-counter syrup, typically used to induce vomiting in poison victims, became her secret weapon. She was secretly binging and then using the ipecac to purge, a devastating cycle of bulimia on top of her anorexia. This was the one secret that would prove fatal. Have you ever heard of this dangerous substance? Let us know in the comments. Here is the truly shocking medical truth. The active ingredient in ipecac is a poison called emmetine. Unlike other toxins, emmetine does not leave the body. It accumulates in the muscle tissue, and it has a particular affinity for the heart. Fiber by fiber, it literally corrodes and destroys the heart muscle, making it weak and scarred. Her heart wasn't just weak from starvation. It was a ticking time bomb, chemically poisoned by her own secret addiction. She returned to California in late 1982, and many hoped she was cured. She looked healthier, was energetic, and met with Richard to plan a new album and tour. But this image of recovery was a tragic illusion. She had not finalized her divorce from Burris. In a cruel twist of fate, she was scheduled to sign the final divorce papers on the very morning she died. By all outward appearances, Karen Carpenter was back. But the truth was far more complex. Her final night on Earth was spent having dinner with her parents, Agnes and Harold. She had returned to her childhood home, the very place her struggles began. She was frail, but reportedly hopeful, excited about her new life. This Last Supper was a haunting echo of her entire life. The girl had come home, still seeking that final, elusive approval from the mother who never knew how to give it. On the morning of February 4th, 1983, Karen was supposed to sign her divorce papers. When she didn't come downstairs, her mother Agnes went to her room. The scene she found was the stuff of nightmares. Karen was collapsed, naked, in the walk-in closet of her childhood bedroom. The angelic voice that had comforted millions was silent. The girl who just wanted to be loved was gone. The press immediately screamed anorexia. The world believed she had simply starved to death. But the coroner's autopsy report dropped a bombshell that solved the mystery. The official cause of death was heart failure, but it was caused by emmetine cardiotoxicity. It was the final, tragic proof. The ipecac, the secret poison she had been taking, had finally done its job and corroded her heart beyond repair. Karen's death became a shockwave that finally forced the world to learn the words anorexia nervosa. But the question of who is responsible is more complicated. Was it the controlling mother who shamed her? Was it the perfectionist brother who demanded excellence? Was it the con man husband who betrayed her? Or was it the Hollywood machine that demands impossible perfection? We want to know what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below. The tragedy of Karen Carpenter is that her death was entirely preventable. She was a victim of a time that didn't understand her illness, and a family that didn't understand her. But the truly terrifying part? 40 years later, the same pressures of fame, perfection, and image are even worse today, broadcast 24/7 on social media. Karen's story isn't just a Hollywood mystery, it's a terrifying warning. The voice is gone, but the lesson of her life and her death must never be forgotten. Please subscribe for more deep dives into the stories you thought you knew. Enjoying our deep dives into rock and roll's history? Please drop us a like and a subscribe to support the channel, and feel free to click one of the videos on your screen to continue learning about classic rock's dark past. See you there.